Hello everyone, welcome to Nib Pickin'. My name is Steven and I like to review fountain pens for artists. So today I'm really excited about the pen that I'm going to show you. It's something I've wanted to have for a long time, a pen hailing all the way from Taiwan. Today we're going to be looking at the Twsbi Eco. So this pen retails for about $31 on Amazon. It's a relatively new fountain pen. It's been around for at least the last 6 or 7 years. The reason that I really wanted to review it is because it's a pen that a lot of people have said that this is their favorite pen, people with larger fountain pen collections than what I have. So let's look at the parts of this pen, see how it's packaged. I'll give you a drawing sample and I'm going to tell you at the end of the video, do I think that this pen is good to use for art? Is this an art supply or just a pen? All right, stay tuned. So this is the Twsbi Eco. This is the box that it came in. I've never had a pen that came in a box before, so this is kind of special. There's the Twsbi logo right there on the front. Pretty cool. And yeah, I gotta say, I love craft paper. I think it looks really nice, the way that this box is packaged. And if I pull off the sleeve that it came in, you can see this plastic box that it comes in with. On the back, it shows the parts of the Eco, and you can see there's the feed and the nib, the cap, the body, and these are the internal parts of the piston converter. So oops, upside down you can see it has in Chinese and also in English the different parts. So that's a pretty cool addition. And when I open it up, I'm really excited about this part. You can see the inside. It says Eco on the front and user manual. So you can see in here, these are instructions for how to fill up the piston, which we're going to try in a little bit. And this right here is how to use the included wrench and how to use silicone grease to keep the piston well lubricated so it doesn't get stuck. And here is the pen. It's got this kind of just really beautiful finish to it. I get excited every time I try and touch it. You know, there's just like an energy to it. So I'm going to pull it out of the case. And it says no alcohol. This pen's starting to sound like my wife. But actually, I believe that is related to cleaning it with alcohol. I think that damages the pen. So we'll just get rid of that. And here's the pen. I don't think the video is going to do it justice. Certainly the pictures I saw online did not do it justice. It's a very cool pen to hold. It's got just about the perfect weight in my opinion. It's shiny and the plastic feels really good in the hand. It doesn't feel cheap at all. This pen retails for about $31 online, and I feel like it's worth more than that. I feel like I would pay like $50 for this pen. Having held it in the hand and looked at it, you can see that this clip is pretty stiff, but it does move, so you'll be able to clip that onto your shirt or your pants pocket or wherever you hold your pens. It says Twsbi in the front and Eco Taiwan on the back. Here's the piston. You can see internally it's a demonstrator. It's got a clear body, but the cap and the end for turning the piston are black colored, and they come in a lot of different colors, so you can choose the one you want. If I pull, it's just about one twist of my fingers and I can pull the cap off. Here's my pen. This is the extra fine nib. I like extra fine nibs because I like getting a fine line when I'm drawing. You can see it's clear through to the feed. There's a little rubber gasket here. From what I understand, that's just to keep ink from leaking out. Not that it necessarily will, but just an extra safeguard. And there's also another one on the end here next to the piston, and I'm told that that actually is to keep the cap from falling off when it's posted, because the cap does post. and you can feel it go over the rubber gasket when it does. So then you can hold it like that there in your hand. Personally, I think just having held it like this, I like it unposted as opposed to posted, but that could be individual taste. So other things included in the box, let's just have a look. There is further instructions about filling the piston. And we looked at these already. It comes with a wrench. So this, from holding it, I can tell it definitely feels like something that's 3D printed or just a specialized tool just for this. And it looks, according to the diagram, in order to take out the piston, which I'm not going to do that today, but you would place this wrench in between the threads. It's kind of hard to see as you're lifting it up, and then whoops, there we go. And then you've got it latches on here, and you can twist it if you need to take the wrench out. And one of the reasons that you might do that, of course, would be to use this also included silicone grease. It says do not swallow or contact with the eye. So I'm assuming you just want to be careful with your hands when you use that. It looks like they're recommending you use a Q-tip, and that's for keeping this piston from getting stuck, the rubber against the plastic here. So cool, and you can see the piston moves really nicely and smoothly. It's clearly already got some silicone grease on there, but they included a little extra just to keep it nice and smooth for many years to come, which is a really nice little added feature. So there's the pen, the Twsbi Eco. Let's fill it up with some ink and play around with it. Okay, so we're gonna give this Twsbi Eco a fill. And in order to fill it nicely, we are going to use an ink that's a lovely color that I've really enjoyed using these last couple of years that I've had it. This is Noodler's Walnut. Noodler is a really cool company. It's an American company. They make everything in the US, even the bottles and the labels. And they have cool colors. A lot of them are even have historical references to them. So if you're a history buff, you should check out some of the unique colors and labels and things that they have at Noodler's. And this walnut is a really nice brown, like almost a coffee kind of brown. These ship with a lot of ink, so even though I mentioned I've had this bottle for, I want to say, about 2 years, I've barely used even a small amount of it. So let's use some of it up now with filling up my pen. I'm very excited about this. Okay, so what's going to happen is we push the plunger down by twisting. You can see I'm twisting this, and the plunger goes all the way down, and then I'm going to dip it in, and we're going to see it pull. Oh, there it goes. Oh, that is cool. Okay, now that's the first fill. You can try to get a little bit more in there by, this could get messy. You turn it upside down and let the ink kind of sink a little bit. And I'm going to be twisting the knob. You're going to watch some of this ink might start to drip up. And if it does, we're just going to be very careful and then twist it back. I'm twisting it back and forth a little bit, and you can see that stuff spilling out. So we're going to push that air bubble out. Okay, and we're going to go back into the ink and do a second fill. Okay, now if you look at it, we really got a nice and full pen. I'm going to wipe it off with a tissue and clean off all that extra ink that's on the nib and on the feed there, and then we're going to do a drawing sample. Can't wait. All right, so this is the portion where you see my drawing sample. I was looking around my backyard, and there's a bunch of crazy cool oak trees, and some of the color in the bark reminded me of this ink color, so I thought I'll draw a gnarly oak tree. Originally I had planned even to make this with leaves and foliage, but I just had way too much fun drawing the branches and letting them curve around and get all twisted and stuff that I really didn't want to draw leaves to cover up all my work when I was done, so I just kind of left it like that. Speaking of fun, this Twsbi Eco is super fun to work with as a piece of arts, as an art supply. Excuse me. The lines are super consistent. It's pretty thin. I kind of wish it was just a little bit thinner, but I've learned actually that the manufacturer, Twsbi, they use European nibs in their pens, as far as the research I've discovered. So it's kind of like a European extra fine, which is similar to, like, if you're familiar with Japanese pens, like the Pilot Metropolitan or the Platinum pens. Those are more like a fine, is equivalent to an extra fine for the Eco. But it was really a great experience using this pen. I would recommend it. I think I'd recommend it as like a second fountain pen purchase, just because the price point is a little bit higher. Like $31 seems a little steep. Again, I actually feel like this is worth more than that, but that's just my opinion. There was a little bit of feathering as well. You can't really see it from the drawing, which is further away, but just at some of the points where I put a lot of ink down, there's a bit of feathering. I kind of blame the paper. I purposefully got cheap paper for this. And that's because I think that a lot of us have cheap paper laying around, and I don't like pens to be so fancy that they can't use regular paper. So it's really kind of a torture test to put it through with this cheap paper, and it passed. It was really, really fun to use this pen, and I hope you enjoy my drawing of the tree. Now that we've had our drawing sample, it's time to give my verdict on the Twsbi Eco. Is it a great pen for art? And I would say yes, in fact, it very much is. I had a really good time working with this pen. I still have been using it even for the last couple of weeks, just for writing, for drawing. It does well on both of them. It works well on cheap paper. My only real criticism, I suppose there are two, and one of them is not a real criticism. The first one is that I wish that the nib was just a little bit finer. It works well enough, but just a slightly finer nib would put me over the top, because I love extra fine lines when I'm drawing, and I'm still looking for that great combination of the two. The other one is just that it holds so much ink. Like, I've been using this for several weeks, and if you look at it, it's just to about there. That much ink is gone, and the rest of it is all still there. So whatever ink you put in this pen, make sure that you like it, because you'll be using it for a really long time. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I have a new ink that I really want to test, and I really want to test it in this pen. So we're just going to have to wait. Anyway, that's all we have for nib picking today. Please join us next time, like and subscribe to see more content from me. Catch you later.